Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Horror Room. So, we're going to be taking a look at another collection of mine in which I have a lot of different variants of. And I figured we would start with The Night of the Living Dead, the original movie that started the zombie as we know it today. Of course, made by very famous, very prolific George A. Romero, who kind of weaves political threads into most of his movies. And Night of the Living Dead was no different. But we're not here to discuss the movie and all that. I mean, there's tons of videos about theories and stuff out there. We're here to talk about the different versions in my collection. Now, when it comes to Night of the Living Dead, there are so many different versions out there because they did not secure the rights and it kind of became public domain. So anybody and everybody could put this movie out. And there are a ton of different versions out there, especially on like VHS. You usually, if you get those multi-pack horror DVDs, that's usually one of the movies on there. So yeah, um, what can be said about this movie? It's a classic. It was pretty shocking for its time. You got to remember that this movie was made in like the late 50s, early 60s, I believe. Let's see if it says on here. I don't. 68. Okay. So yeah, it was actually the late 60s. Um, so yeah, this movie redefined, the horror genre because before that it was mainly just like the Universal monster stuff. There was some outliers here and there, but a lot that people hadn't heard of quite yet or weren't as, main spread as Night of the Living Dead would become. So without further ado, let's take a look at my collection and I'll tell you what I think about each release and, whether or not you should go seeking it out. First off, let's start with Laserdisc because I figure I don't have too many of these. Might as well. Here we have the Public Pictures home video version. You gotta love that simple artwork. And it kind of looks like they used pictures from other movies. This might be a foreign poster art that they used. But I do love the simplicity of this. You got the back, you got the zombies, you got Johnny there getting attacked by the infamous graveyard zombie. I cannot remember the actor's name, but he's like one of the most famous zombies out there. Maybe not the most graphic in terms of look, but then we have the Elite Entertainment 25th Anniversary Collector's Edition. I actually found this one first. I found the other one second, and it was a lot cheaper than this one. But this one wasn't like too terribly expensive. I think I paid maybe 15, 20 for it. And of course, like all great laser discs, it's got the gatefold with lots of info. It's got, a picture of the crew. It's such a great release. It's got the analog track. It's got commentary from George Romero and the different cast members. So yeah. Digital film to tape transfer approved by George Romero. Production photos, trailers, linear notes, which is inside the gatefold, by Stephen King, Sam Raimi, and Tom Savini. And of course, if you know, Tom Savini would later go on to remake Night of the Living Dead, and we will be discussing that. I wasn't going to include the remake, but why not? Because I'm not going to do a separate video for two versions. Now, at the time of me recording this, not at the time of this releasing, there is a 4K version of Night of the Living Dead remake supposed to come out, and it's going to be uncut, which is very exciting for fans of that version, because for some reason that movie, the footage or whatever wasn't used. I don't know the full story. I'm sure you can look it up, but I'm just excited to get to see that film in a new light. So hopefully by the time this comes out, I'll have seen it. But yeah, you got these different little things. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Let me go ahead and put this back in its sleeve, if I can. Let's see. But yeah, Night of the Living Dead was, I don't think, the first one I saw. I think I saw it a lot later. Dawn of the Dead was actually the first one I saw. So watching them out of order, it didn't make me uh, like this movie any less. But, obviously this one's the slower one out of the three, but, it's great. And next we have one of the VHS versions that I own. The original uncut and unedited classic. I've had this one for a long time. I love the look of the box, just pretty simple. And like I said, there's a ton of different versions of the VHS out there with different artwork. Some of it's more subdued with like just text on the back. There's one that's like a gravestone, and the case is like purple, I think, pretty sure. Um, just a lot of weird, fun versions. So if you're into collecting variants, this might be a good one to try and look for because there's tons of them. And I had a ton on DVD myself, but I ended up giving a few copies to some friends because I'm like, you know what? I don't need 70 versions of Night of the Living Dead. I still have quite a bit, though. Otherwise, I wouldn't be making this video. Then we have the Night of the Living Dead remake, the Tom Savini one, and of course, I got it signed when I went to the horror convention. I need to get a protective case for this eventually because I try to keep my signature tapes protected. Let's see. So now we're moving on to the DVDs. This is a standard one, but it does have a few special things on it. This is by Cinefantastique. That's a really weird company name. I do like the presentation. You open it up and you got the zombies in the background with the red disc. And it says, includes never before seen exclusive documentary Chronicles of the Living Dead. So, exclusive special feature. Oh my gosh. Creators George Romero, John Russo, and Russ Streiner discuss the joy and heartbreak of birthing a classic. I'm assuming the heartbreak comes from, hey, we didn't get to copyright this, so everyone had a field day with it. Visit the original Pittsburgh locations, the Living Dead Museum, and meet filmmakers who were influenced by the production. So yeah. Genre Media Magazine, Cinefantastique. I've never heard of that magazine. Let me know down below if you know anything about that magazine. I never heard of it. So yeah, we have that version. Then we have the Millennium Edition of Night of the Living Dead. Now, I think it's this one. It might be a different one. No, actually, I don't think it is. But this is the Elite Entertainment one. Maybe it's the 30th anniversary one. One of these versions. It could be this one, honestly. Let's see. This has a newly approved THX transfer, trailers, dual commentary, film parody, Night of the Living Bread, original mono soundtrack, stills, history of Romero's company, The Latent Image, scenes from the Lost Romero film, There's Always Vanilla. Never heard of that one. Video interviews, final interviews, foreign and domestic posters, props, shooting script. Wow. There's a lot in here. Full color insert featuring liner notes from Stephen King. Oh, yeah. Which is this. Yeah, I don't think this is the one. There's one that I'm very certain I have, and I think it's the one I'm about to show you next. Which is the 30th Anniversary Limited Edition. Let me see. Yep, this is it. Okay. So basically what they did, for the 30th anniversary, they recut the movie, and John Russo went and directed new scenes to put in the movie. Now, normally, you'd say, hey, great, that's cool, we're going to add a little extra footage. But these scenes kind of stick out like a sore thumb in the movie. And they really don't add much extra to it. I think there's like a scene with like a priest or something. So they're just, I don't know, they're not very necessary. You got full frame presentation, 15 minutes of new scenes, 98 edition of the original 90-minute edit with all new musical scores. So they also changed the soundtrack. And sometimes that can be hit or miss. Perfect example that I like to bring up is Donnie Darko. Not really a horror movie, but if you watch the director's cut, they take out all the awesome 80s movie that makes Donnie Darko. Um, and I think they use more of the score, which the score is nice too, but without all the 80s music, it just, I don't know, it takes something away from that movie. Um, you got a featurette, you got the 30th anniversary theatrical trailer commentary. Bill Hensman, that's the one. Scene from Bill Hensman feature Flesh Eater. That's the infamous main zombie, which I don't know if that's the guy right there. Is that the same guy? I don't know, maybe. But he ended up doing another feature film that was about zombies called Flesh Eater. I think I have it somewhere. I'm not sure. It goes by different titles too, so that can be confusing. Dance of the Dead music video, and a 32-page 4-color collector's booklet. Yeah, so that's this one, I think. It's got this little booklet in here, and it's got lots of behind-the-scenes stuff. Um, it's got like different questions. Yeah, there's the priest, and yeah, he definitely sticks out. Uh, does not seem like he fits into that era. And they reshot stuff with the zombie, I'm pretty sure, or they got a different guy. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine, but it's Night of the Living Dead. You don't really need to add anything. And I think there's a soundtrack. Um, yeah, Night of the Living Dead 30th Anniversary Original Motion Picture Score. I always forget that this comes with it. Probably because it's not that memorable. Sorry. So yeah, the 30th anniversary, kind of leave, take it or leave it. Next we have the remake. This is a used DVD that I got from like a game exchange or something back in the day. There's really not too much on here except the Dead Walk making of. That might be included in the 4K. I'm not sure. And it does have a nice little booklet with some info. But yeah, I think the remake is a pretty good testament to the film's longevity. Night of the Living Dead has a good remake. Dawn of the Dead has a good remake. And Day of the Dead, we'll talk about that when we get to it. So yeah, the Night of the Living Dead remake, pretty good stuff. Also, before we get to the last big Night of the Living Dead set I did want to mention some spin-offs, I guess, as it were. First off, we have Night of the Living Dead 3D, featuring Sid Haig. It's basically like a retelling, so it's kind of its own remake. And I still have the 3D glasses in the package. I think I've seen this once, and I don't remember it being that great, but I will have to watch it again. I mean, Sid Haig is always entertaining, and no matter what he's in, I'm sure it's fine. So you could technically, I guess, say that this is the second remake, possibly. Now, there's a lot of different ones out there. There's one that's like Night of the Living Dead Reanimated, where a bunch of different people recreate different scenes. Think of Shrek Retold, how they redid that whole movie with different creators doing different scenes. They did that with Night of the Living Dead, kind of. Or maybe it's a fully animated and just animated in different styles. I can't quite remember. I think I tried watching it once, and honestly, I'm not going to lie, I got pretty bored. So if I ever found it for cheap, I might give it another shot, because I was a lot younger when I watched it. Now, I will say I have not watched this one. It looks bad, but I'm going to try and give it a chance eventually. Night of the Living Dead Resurrection. Let's read the back. I guess this is another remake. A brand new take on the horror classic. The deceased have risen with the instinct to feed on the living as a family is trapped during a zombie apocalypse. Wow, this is a very generic. Oh, and I still have a receipt from when I bought it. Let's see what else I bought if it shows it. Season 4 of Metalocalypse, Night of the Living Dead Resurrection, Seed of Chucky, and something else because it just says DVD. I'm assuming it was another horror movie. So yeah, that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm not gonna say it's bad. Maybe I'll watch it and do a review eventually. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be fantastic. But if you do want fantastic, you have the Night of the Living Dead 50th Anniversary Collector's Edition Ultimate Fan Box Set. That's a mouthful. This was at FYE for the longest time. I think they had it marked at like $120, $130, which is absolutely insane. But for what you get in here, I can understand that price. And I was lucky enough when they finally marked it down to $30 to snag a copy before it was gone. And this is a beautiful set. Let me show you guys what comes with it. Let me get it open. You got beautiful artwork on the cover there and on the inside of the box too. And it's a very thick box too, as you can see. I actually have to lay it down on my shelf because it won't stand next to all the other things I have. It comes with a Night of the Living Dead graphic novel, and this artwork is so great. It reminds me of like charcoal drawings, and of course it's all in black and white. It's word for word, scene for scene. Maybe they took a little bit of liberties, but it's fantastic. So I really wish that Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead got the same treatment. Maybe they planned on it, or maybe they couldn't. Maybe it was only this they could. Then you have... Sorry, it's so hard to get everything out of here. You have this slip that, tells what comes inside the box set. Then you have these amazing... They're like kind of lobby cards, but they're bigger than, your standard lobby card. And they got the gold font and stuff. Try to do this. There. Set them down. Yeah, like, it's so cool. They won't stay dead. And, you got different scenes from the movie. Here's that infamous scene of all the zombies. Get the guy in his underwear in the middle. You got the daughter that's down in the basement. And you've got your two stars of the movie. Now, I know, might be an unpopular opinion, but the actress that plays Barbara in the original, not a big fan. She just screams constantly. That's one of the reasons I prefer the remake. They made her a little bit of a more level-headed, stronger character. And, that's something you want to see in your horror movies, especially George Romero. I think that was the only instance he did that, because in Dawn and Day, both the female characters in those movies are strong and likable. So it was only this original one. So I guess you can't fault him for that, being his first movie. So yeah, you have all these. Then you have this... it's a Fathom event pre-order ticket or something. To go see in 2018 4K Ultra HD nationwide. Wow, that would have been fun to watch on the big screen. So you have that. Then you have... And I need to, when I move eventually, I do want to hang this up. I think that's just packaging. There's this beautiful poster. Let me see if I can open it without ruining it. It's got, some stuff to read on the back. And, you get that iconic poster of the zombie you see on most of the covers of this release. And then you have this beautiful Criterion. Oh, so this is a Criterion release. I always forget that for some reason. This Criterion Blu-ray of Night of the Living Dead. Let's see if I can. Oh, it goes the other way. But yeah, it's got this fantastic artwork. If you open it up, it's, all the zombies. Beautiful. It's 2 discs. I assume one of them's a DVD. But yeah, it's probably a very fantastic way to watch this. I honestly haven't watched this release yet. I need to. Maybe I should do it back to back with this and the remake, the 4K edition I'm getting. Even though this, it's not really a 4K, it's just a Blu-ray, I'm pretty sure. I think it would say on there. So yeah, this is a really fantastic set. If you're able to get it for cheap, I would highly recommend it. Because it's absolutely gorgeous. Great details. Comes with a free comic, graphic novel of the full movie. So that's fantastic. So yeah, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this Night of the Living Dead look at all the different versions I have. We're going to continue this next week and talk about the Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead stuff that I have because, it'd be silly to separate those into 2 videos because I don't have as much. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed watching and seeing all these cool different variants, and hopefully I showed you a few that you didn't even know about. But there's plenty more that I probably don't even know about. So I'll see you next week, guys, and take care.